Hello everybody, welcome to Strategic Command WWII. I'm Paradox Gamer playing, and this is my first campaign in this game. Strategic Command WWII is a successor to Strategic Command War in Europe. So let's see what the game has to offer here. These are the campaigns: World at War, September 39. We can start at the Axis High Tide in June 42. All the Allies turned the tide in July 5th, 1943, and also there are some smaller scenarios, Race to Victory in September, and the same dates basically. We're gonna go with the full campaign, 1939, and the victory conditions are as the Axis to control Berlin, Paris, London, Manchester, Moscow, Stalingrad, Cairo, Tokyo, Seoul, Chongqing, Delhi, Manila, and Canberra. Days per turn 14. Let's get started. Alright, so we're gonna play as the Axis. Intermediate, that's fine. And we are not gonna play with 3D units, and we're gonna put on the Fog of War and not the quick animation. I'm gonna play with the NATO symbols as usual. Just checking out the advanced fade, text, enter, scroll, soft build limits. We're not going to play with those two, so that's fine. Let's go. 1939, World at War. So basically this is a kind of expansion to the war in Europe, as in we have now the whole world. And that's pretty much Japan, China, and all the miners in that area. Also, the USA will be better represented in this game, as there is actually a Pacific fleet. It does not just appear randomly in the Atlantic. Right, World War II has begun. German troops invade Poland. So, winning the war in China, we have invested a great deal of effort in our war with China, but a decisive victory still eludes us. Nanning is the major Chinese port receiving foreign trade, including supplies from the United States. Should we gain control of Nanning, China may no longer be able to continue to resist us, and victory could be within our grasp. The recommendation is to capture Nanning as soon as possible, as the Japanese. While we may need to expand the empire in order to gain resources required in our way with China, it should not come at a cost of an expanded war until we are probably prepared to do so. So, avoiding war with the UK and USA. The Foreign Ministry reports that both the UK and USA are prepared to defend all areas under their influence throughout Asia and the Pacific. Beware also that sending any naval units near Hawaii, Alaska, or North America will increase US mobilization. Also, avoiding war with the USSR, intelligence reports that Stalin may attack Manchuria should our military presence there appear weak. So the recommendations are to prevent the USSR from swinging towards the Allies. Keep units in Manchuria, Chishisha, Kiamutsi, Yenki, Harbin, and Helsinki. Avoid war with the USA and the British for as long as possible. Right, so let's take a look here. We can zoom out all the way to the world map here. So basically we got everything, the whole world except for Antarctica basically. So yeah, let's zoom back in here. This is the status of the war in September 1939. Japan has been at war with China for a couple of years at this point, and basically have taken Manchuria, the Beijing area, and Shanghai and Nanjing, as well as some other areas, Formosa, and so forth. Right. So, let's start with Japan here, or let's start with the changes from the base game, the War in Europe game, and then until what has happened. Now, this is my biggest gripe with the game, so let's just get that out and done with to start with, and that is the actual map has shrunk. So it's very visible here if you look at Europe. We can zoom in a little bit here. If we see, like, let's take the Netherlands for example. That's a total of 3, 6. That's a total of 9 hexes. In the War in Europe, sorry, the I think the Netherlands had about twice as many hexes. Same goes for Belgium. France was considerably bigger. I mean, everything was bigger in the European theater. Now, of course, I know the reasoning behind this. That is because if Europe was to scale at the same scale as in the other game, places like Siberia, most of Asia, and Africa would be pretty huge and not a whole lot going on in those places. So the devs decide to shrink Europe a little bit, and the obvious downside to this is that tactical choices will be a little bit more limited, especially in the war for France. It's gonna be very, very easy for the Germans to get to Paris, much easier than in the other game. Also getting to Moscow, Stalingrad, and so forth, it's just a little bit easier than that way. So that was my biggest gripe with this expansion here. Other than that, pretty much everything is the same, except that of course now we have the whole world, Japan, and yeah, we have some new features out here in the ocean, in the Pacific. You can see these US ships. These marks the area where the Japanese fleets are not welcome. If they pass this border and move on to the other side of it, oh, this is the end of the map. Right. Then you will aggro the United States. So you have to keep out of this area. That includes the Hawaiian Islands. Yeah, okay, so here we go to the other side. The same demarcation is also here in the Atlantic. So if German naval vessels should pass on the other side of this line, that will also aggro the United States. Right, let's get back to Japan. I want to discuss a little bit about my strategy here, because the strategy that Japan chose in real life was kind of somewhere in the middle. They expanded in China and they tried to fight the United States at sea. So basically they were fighting a two-front war, both at sea and at land. Now I think that's a bad idea. I would go either full scale on Navy to take out the United States, or full scale on Army and then take out China before the United States get involved. And I am going to go with the second choice here. So I'm going to go Army and I'm going to conquer China. Take China out. That will free up tons of units that I can use in Manchuria and into India and so forth. And I will be way too strong for the United States to actually land on me. So I will not be going for Philippines, Indonesia, and all the crappy islands down here to get more oil. No, I'm just going to take out China, basically. So we're going to do that as fast as we can. So let's see the implications here. In Manchuria, as was just mentioned, we need to have troops stationed here in order to not aggro or entice, rather, Stalin to attack us. But these can be any units that we want. It can even be garrison units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these units up here. We have 3 armies and 3 corps and a headquarter that I'm going to replace with garrisons, basically. And then we're going to move all the armies down here and we're going to start fighting the Chinese. Any other available army unit will be allocated to the front lines as well. The Navy will pretty much do absolutely nothing for the big parts of this scenario until the end, where we have to actually fight the US Navy. So that's how it's going to go down. Now, so one very important thing to mention in China is the partisans. If we press the P key, we can see that's a lot of partisan activity in China. And if you don't remember, there are 2 choices here. There are the regular one here with a P, and the same with just that red thing, the red circle on top of that. Means if you leave Chengchuan unoccupied, actual partisan units will appear here, while as if you do it in Beijing, there will not have any actual partisan units arrive, but there will be some damage to the area. So we definitely have to garrison these areas here where you see the P. There's also Chengchuan, and further down south here we have these two here on the coast. If we leave those unattended, partisans will arrive. So we got to be very aware of that. So let's get out of that mode again. And yeah, so the immediate thing here is to try and take Nanning. Obviously that will not be possible because we are simply not strong enough down here right now. My main push is going to be here in the center. So, but what we're going to do here is just move this guy up a little bit, and we will discover the enemy unit in Nanning. And as you can see here, we're not going to do any damage to these guys. So we have some transport units here, and they are transporting the 7th Korean. It doesn't say army or corps, so I'm not actually sure which one it is, but we're going to put it down here as well. Just transport it down here. And oh, I forgot. Pak Choi here is actually not strong enough for our units to actually land here. So we need to move. The headquarters can move up here. Then we gotta move the carrier out of Haikou. Then move these guys down to the transport, and then we can land. This is an actual army. So let's just get the carrier up there, and the destroyer can go in there. Right, so we have an army in Canton that's gonna stay there as well. What we can do with the garrisons here is to just move them slightly so that they will actually as we can see here, they will connect up with other areas like that. Yep. So that's it for those guys. This one here we will have to make a little bit stronger before we send it out. And we also have a corps over here in Tokyo that we're going to send out shortly, but not yet. So we have 150 points. The question is, what are we going to do with those 150 points? Now what we could do is start some research. We could either start production technology or logistics, or we cannot afford infantry weapons or tanks or anything like that. We could also start anti-submarine warfare, but what I need right now the most is actually my garrisons. So I'm gonna not do anything in the research screen, and then instead purchase 3 garrison units. They will cost 50 each, so that's just all my points. So one, no, not that. Okay, here, purchase 1, 2, 3. We can see that they will arrive here in March 41. No, that's not the one. There it is, October 39. So next month they will arrive, and we will start shifting them out with the units we have up here. We do have a couple of garrisons in Beijing and Johor, and one here in Suzhou. So we'll get those also in Shanghai. Now if we take the P, we can see that Shanghai does not need to be garrisoned right now. So we're going to send some of those guys up north. As soon as we get some more points, we'll get some more points in the next turn. So this is just preliminary movements. But we could get the headquarters into Beijing, which means we can send this guy up here, move this guy up to Johor, and then move the headquarters down to Beijing. Oh, I thought it could actually get in there. Apparently it can't. Okay, so I'm one short. Let me just check. Yeah, that's okay. I think we want to keep Beijing up. Nah, Nah, that's fine. I don't think we're going to have partisan activity there. Also, I think you just need to be 1 hex apart. So this should be okay there. Right, let's dig deeper into what we have here. We have one naval flotilla and one. Yeah, these are both called naval flotilla, but one is a medium bomber and the other one is tactical bombers. And then we have some fighters as well. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to focus on 1 unit at a time. Now these guys can actually reach over here, so I'm going to go with a. Now, mind you that just to remember from the other game, if you're not, if you can't remember, when you attack, if you attack first and then move, it will be a better attack than if you move and then attack. So we're gonna first do the shot here. Only 1 damage, unfortunately, and we can move out of the way. Then we can move these guys forward. Now mind you, these guys are not upgraded, so they will not do a lot of damage. We can start with this one then. We'll do 4 damage. And then we'll move this guy in. We'll do 2 damage. And then we can move this guy out. We can actually move this guy over here. Get this guy down this way. And then come down with these guys and do another 4 damage. Oh shoot, he just survives. Oh, so what we can do, we can get 1 more attack in with these guys. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do that, so I'm gonna be a little bit out of place here. Or we can move these guys down there. Let's get this guy down here just to make sure that we take this guy out. Yeah, and then we'll move into Wushan with these guys. Okay, I could also have bombed them, but I didn't. Let's start bombing these guys because they are deeply entrenched, and they're going to be the next target. No, let's bomb these guys. No enemy fighters. We're just going to do this as well. And then we can move the bombers a little bit out of the way so that they don't get hit by enemies. So up here we're pretty much just stalling for time, because we simply don't have the numbers to do anything in this area. We will have that soon, but not quite yet. I'm just going to check my navy to see if they're all in port. It looks like it. Yes, they're all in port. Alright, fine. Now we can move this guy up also. We could transport him over to the other side, but I don't have any points. The other option is to just force march them over here, so I think I'm going to do that. We gotta leave these guys in place until we get the garrisons up there. Alright, I think that's it for the Japanese. I will move over to Europe. So the Italians are not in the war yet, and the tactical situation, or the strategic situation, is pretty much the same as in the other game. What we want is a strong Italy in Libya to push in towards Alexandria and Cairo. We already have 2 armies down here, so we need at least their headquarters and the armor and the other army that we have here. We want to send all of those guys down there before Italy enters the war. There is also this area here, the Ethiopia, Somalia, Eritrea area, which was not depicted in the other game. Now we have some garrison units in Massawa, in Mogadishu, and Gunda. They are pretty much going to get killed, all of them. But we can save the actual Italian units. So I'm not sure if we can actually save the. This is Italian East Africa and not Italian army. I'm not quite sure. But the thing is, South Africa's going to land some troops up here, and they're going to take out Mogadishu very, very easily. And the British are going to come in from Khartoum, and maybe also from Barbera. So what I'm thinking is to pull back towards Massawa here, and then just defend that. And then simply just leave Mogadishu, Addis Ababa, and Gondar alone, because I can't defend it. It's as simple as that. So we're gonna take the long march up with these guys. Now what I'm unsure about is if they will disappear if Mogadishu gets taken. So there's that. Well, let's start moving these guys up that way and that way. See some French garrison in Djibouti. Now we do have 110 points for the Italians, and they should pretty much just be spent on getting things ready. And that is first priority is the headquarter. So we can get the headquarter up to 8 for this turn, and then we want to get the armor, or we can send these guys across. That will cost us 35. Let's do that. Let's send these guys out down here, and these guys will just start marching across, I guess. And we're gonna send this garrison unit the other way back to Tripoli. We're gonna send this guy north. We can put the fighters over here, the bombers, sorry. These guys up here. We want this guy up here somewhere, and the garrison in Rome. And we want to get these guys over here so that they can get out to sea when appropriate. And that's pretty much it for the Italians. We do have 21 points, and we're going to just save them up. Or we can get this guy back to 10. Yeah, let's get this guy up to 10. That's fine. Alright, that was the Italians. Now the Germans. The Germans are actually at war here from the start. So we're at war with Britain, France, and Poland. And we have the usual units over here in the west. They're just here to defend. And then we have the assaulting units here in the east. Now the target is Warsaw, and we should be able to get it in 2 turns, and 3 turns is the max that we're going to use here. So we have the 4th Panzer against the cavalry brigade here, and the other Panzer is up against the Pomorze army up here near Toron. We want to get through those guys as fast as possible, so I'm going to use my bombers on them. We do have interceptors and some escorts. Nothing happens. Then we have the bombers up here. They're going to do the same, bomb these guys. Nothing happens there either. And then we have the bombers down here, which I think we're going to use on these guys. Okay, not much happened there. Right, so let's start down here in the south. This is pretty easy. We need to get through these cavalry units, so the armor can actually take them out in one go. Almost. Let's come up here, make sure that we take them out completely. And we can even reach Warsaw. Enemy contact. We have a garrison there in Warsaw. So then we want to support this armor unit by taking out this cavalry unit. Move in there. And then these guys will attack up here. And then move through the hole. Like that. Then we're gonna merge up here. Like that. And we're going to take Przemysl with these guys. We're not going to take that shot. And then we're going to come up here. Not going to take that shot either. Well, we do have some prepared attacks that we can take down here. We're going to take a little bit of losses. That's fine. 1 from each. and they're just going to stay put. And then in the north, we want to get through this army here. We can pretty much ignore the cavalry. So I'm thinking we're going to take the army down here to help soften up these guys. We could actually split them up from there. Okay, so let's take Toron. And then move the armor through. Enemy contact. Let's take out these guys. And then move up towards Warsaw. Then we're gonna come over to Danzig and attack the cavalry. And I think we can take them out with this one, so let's do that without taking any losses. Move down here. Push them out of the way, and then we can move these guys. No, they don't have enough to come in there. These guys will just block the way over here. We still got this guy. He's going to stay there, I think. Yeah. Alright. So that's pretty much the move on Warsaw. We are poised to attack in the next turn. We have made some pockets. And I don't think we're that vulnerable to enemy attacks. We can move these guys a little bit further up though. Like that. Right, we still have points. We have only 50 though. So this is something that we should consider not spending. Now if we look at the Navy, we do have some ships out at sea. They are over here and they are vulnerable to attacks from the British Navy. And it will take a while until we actually take Norway. So one option is to just stay out of the way near Greenland or something like that. Until we can actually reach Norway. We also have one down here. This is Admiral Graf, just due north. Okay, and then we have the submarine here that we should basically just get everybody to port. But we don't have that many ports right now. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ports only. We don't have Copenhagen either. So some units are not going to be in a port. But at least the battle cruisers will head to port over here. And then the submarines will move a little bit out of the way. Over here. And over there. And then we can send this one into Kiel. So the Navy is pretty much just going to sit there for a while until we can actually do something with it. And that pretty much concludes the turn. We do have the 50 points that I could spend on, you know, getting some points up on these guys, but I think I'm just going to save them up for the next turn. And then we're going to hit the button for the turn. Yeah, I think we're done. Let me just check if I'm zooming out. Did I forget anything? No, I think we're good. Right. So just hit the button here, and we're ready for the turn. So, the 7th Flieger Division is partially formed and trained paratroopers. Would you like to deploy the understrength and only partially trained 7th Flieger Division at Breslau now, or let it complete for operations in 1940? I definitely want to complete them in 1940, so I'm going to go for no. As for the Italians, 2nd Corps is nearly mobilized and ready for deployment if you wish to consider be sent to reinforce our forces in Abyssinia for a cost of 30. Would you like to send the 2nd Corps to Addis Ababa in Abyssinia? Yes, we do want to do that. Canada declares war on Germany. United Kingdom declares war on Germany. France declares war on Germany. Polish morale suffers from battlefield losses. Convoys begin. Recommendation for the Kriegsmarine is to send U-boats and service raiders to target all convoys leading to the UK. This is something I'm not gonna do. And you know that from my previous playthroughs, why that is so. The primary objective here is to take out the Royal Navy. So -30 for sending the core, everything seems fine there. So now it's the AI turn. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee, which is getting cold here. Okay. So we should see some Polish movements. They're moving out of the way, it looks like. Some Chinese movements, obviously. Okay. We should not see any movement from the French, but they are putting some extra points into their frontline units at the Maginot Line. I was not paying attention to the Chinese moves, but did not look like they had any special offensive operations going on or something like that. They're just waiting for my reinforcements to arrive. China does seem very strong here in the beginning, and the tactic against them is simply to chip away of their units. If I can get like one army or one corps at a time per turn, then I will slowly grind them down. The Red Army begins crossing the border into Poland, and the Polish morale will suffer from that as well. India declares war on Germany. And then we have the Hanoi Kunming Railway starting up. New Zealand declares war on Germany. Australia probably as well. No? Strange. Australia did not declare war on Germany. It's kind of weird. Okay. Now, the High Command has commissioned General Falkenhorst to study a possible invasion of occupation of Denmark and Norway in April 40. He will present his plan for Operation Weserübung in March 40, as well as the cost for the invasion and occupation. If you decide to carry through with an invasion prior to this date, be sure to move units quickly to occupy Copenhagen, Oslo, and Narvik before the Allies can react. No, I'm just going to go over the event. It's much easier that way. The communists in Jinan open conflicts with the Mao communists may be avoided, at least for some time, if we do not advance close to their territories. Communist China has a 60% chance per turn of swimming towards the Allies if any Axis units are within 2 hexes of Xi'an, Lanzhou, or Chongqing, or 3 hexes from Yunnan. So we should stay out of the way. Xi'an, Lanzhou, and Chongqing. We can see that straight away. Xi'an is here, Chongqing is here, and Lanzhou is here, and Yunnan is here. So 3 hexes from Yunnan, 2 hexes from Lanzhou, Xi'an, and Chongqing. As long as we stay away from those, we will have no trouble with the Communist China. Obviously, we'll get to that point at some time. Now we have 300 points for the Japanese. And what we want to do is get some more garrisons. Let's see, how many do we have? These guys are gonna stay. I would like this guy to stay in Shanghai as well. So we can get this one up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 garrisons. 1, 2, 3. How many do we need? 1, 2. Let me zoom in a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I did buy a couple, didn't I? I bought 3, so we should actually be okay on that. I don't have to spend any more on the garrisons. Yeah, so we should probably get some research started. Production technology, let's go for the here. Industrial technology and production technology. That's all our points right there. Alright. So let's zoom in down here. Okay, let's just do this and this. These guys are staying. So we're gonna chip away more at the Chinese. We want to kill this one here. So we have our bombers. Still no reaction from the Chinese fighters. Okay. Right, so we should probably just take a shot and move up. Oh my god, I can't move in there. Okay. I cannot move into this place. Okay. Can move this guy up. Or is that too far? No, he's going on the right road here. So he should be able to move out. No. Oh my god. This is gonna be a problem. We're gonna move this guy out of the way. And this is the strongest. But it's just not enough. Oh man. I have to move this guy down to do it then. But then Wuhan will be vulnerable. None of these guys can actually make it up there. Alright, but I am gonna do it anyway. I can even go back. Okay, that's perfect. So we've taken out another Chinese unit. Let's start moving forward with these guys. And this one will just stay there, I guess. Okay. Objective reached. We have taken out another Chinese unit. And let's start moving the garrisons up. It can actually reach Zinking, so we can move this guy down to here. Get into Shinking. And get this one up here. Move into Beijing with the headquarters. And I believe that's it for the turn. Not a lot going on because we spent so much points on research. But we did get that one unit there. So that's fine. We'll move on to Italy. So we'll continue to move these guys up. Oh, I cannot go in there. I didn't know that. I'm not sure why I cannot go into here. This is my area. They can move out, but these guys cannot move in. It's kind of weird. Okay. We have 47 points for the Italians, which you're gonna spend on the headquarters. So that's most of the points. That's all I have. These guys will move over here. Go there, and then we can move these guys over there and land this one here. Okay. That's it for the Italians, except that I want to move this guy up to Bologna. Now the Germans, we have 264 points for the Germans. Now the priority is to get Warsaw taken. So I'm gonna move my army. I'm gonna use it to soften up the defenses. And then hopefully we can start chipping away with the armor. And it's just enough to take out Warsaw. Did take one loss though. Alright, let's take Warsaw. That's probably not enough for them to surrender. So we're gonna bomb over here. I want to take Poznan as well. And that should be possible with the current setup. Yes. Alright, just move in there, then move these guys down here, take out these guys. Okay, that didn't work. And then come over here. I'm just gonna checkmate these guys right there so they don't move up here somewhere. Let's get the headquarters further up. And we can clean out this pocket as well. I could also try and go for Lublin, which I could reach with these guys. No, not quite. It's in the zone of those guys here. Okay, so we're just gonna move around Lublin then. This is the Air Force. Let's get this one a little bit further forward. Now 264 points. We should get some research going as well with the Germans. I'm thinking production and logistics is probably the way to go. And that's all the points that we have. So a little faster turn this one. We do have the guys out at sea. Let's just take a look at them. Just gonna go all the way up here. And just straight north with this one. Hopefully I can get both cruisers, both heavy cruisers, back home safely. That is indeed the plan. Okay, so enemy turn. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee again. Poland surrenders. I do plan to 227 points, that's nice. And now, do we honor the Molotov cocktail? Oh no, the Molotov pact. Yes, I think we will. Yes, let's do that. So we're gonna pull back. And then the USSR will occupy the rest. Alright. South Africa declares war on Germany. British expeditionary forces arrive in France. They're gonna arrive and then they're gonna run away as soon as possible. Danzig is mine. Germany advised to garrison Soviet frontier, so we need to have at least 2 units within 6 hectares of Warsaw. Otherwise the Soviet Union might attack us. So we gotta keep that in mind. Otherwise we are now starting to withdraw back towards the west. And I'm not going to operate my units over there because that's a waste of points. So they're just going to move over there. Right, AI turn. The French are reinforcing their Maginot units. I'm not terribly afraid of them. Some Chinese movement in the north of China. Germany celebrates victory over Poland and the return of Danzig. French morale suffers from the fall of Poland. The Royal Navy occupies the ports of Cork and Waterford in Ireland. And then Australia declares war on Germany. Okay. I think we'll take another turn here. Things are going great. Poland in 2 turns, that's always nice. Send surface raiders to target the supply convoys as well as available units to mine these countries' ports. No. That's a big no from here. Proposal to deploy a force in Italy to serve in the Mediterranean. This force would be known as the Africa Corps. We'll definitely get the Africa Corps once that is ready. So we have the garrisons in Japan that we're going to use in Manchuria. So we're going to send them to some ports nearby. We have a port here. We have a port here. And we have a port here. So they will be shipped to Manchuria. We got another 300 points for Japan. Let's check the research. So we still have spy and intelligence. We need to get that started. We need command and control, infantry weapons, advanced tanks, advanced fighters. We need some anti-submarine warfare, mobility. There's a lot of stuff that we need here. So, which one is important? I think infantry weapons level 2 is going to be really nice to have. That now we're attacking China. So I think we'll go with that one. And that leaves 127 points, so we're going to use those for various tasks, such as operating stuff. For example, we have this one here that we can operate all the way up here. 7 points. Just send it up here. We have another headquarter that we can operate out. Oh, I think we're just going to move it. Hang on. How far can we get this one? No, okay. This one actually we can just move out. Because there's nothing there. We don't have to garrison that particular position. We're gonna move in here. I'm gonna move this guy down here. Let's get this one back to full. It can only go to 8. So we might as well just get it out of here. Let's send it down here. So move this guy out. Transport. Move the destroyer back in. And then next turn we can get it back up to full strength. This one is going to go for infantry weapons level 1. And if we have any others that also needs upgrading, then let's do that. This one, for example. Get it upgraded. It will always pay out to do so. This one. Can't, it moved. This one though. Get that up to infantry 1. Okay. So the next target down here. Let's see. I think we're gonna take out this one here, so we're gonna move up. Why can't I go in there? Okay, so let's just target this guy. Let's bomb him first. Nothing happens. These guys are too far away. Okay. So we can bomb somebody else, like this guy here. Oh, they have cover. Okay, never mind. Come down here. Okay, so let's take that shot. That's 3. And then move up this way. Take another 2. And another 4. And I can't quite get there. That's too bad. I just don't have the strength. We can move these guys forward a little bit. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. So he'll be able to reinforce that guy. Not quite part of the plan. Hope to actually take it out, but that didn't happen this turn. Still got 30 points left, which I will just save up. We need to get all these garrisons across next turn. Or I could spend some points getting these guys upgraded. Might as well do that then. That's 25 points right there. So let's head to Abyssinia. We now have this core. We still can't go into Massawa. Just go up there. We need a headquarter down here as well, which we're going to get later on. So we got 87 points for the Italians, and priority is to get this one shipped across. Let's see if we can get this one up as well. That's gonna cost all our points though. So let's do that this turn, and then next turn we can ship both the headquarter. I think it's supposed to be here. I don't know. Okay, ship the headquarter and the armor unit across. Okay. Move this guy into Tripoli. Get this guy over there. Alright. That's Italy. Now Germany. We have a lot of points now, 461. Of course, because we plundered Poland. We're going to leave 2 units over here, and the rest is going to start marching west. So the planes can go first. They will occupy an area around here. Something like that. Sent the headquarters across. And I'm just going to force march them so they can get quite far. Right, so let's leave this guy in Modlin. And this guy in Warsaw, so we have the 2 units that are required. Start moving these guys across. This guy will stay here in Slovakia, and then move this guy as well. Alright. So we do have 461 points. Now we could start upgrading some of these units over here, or we could check the research for Germany. There's a lot of things we still want. Infantry weapons level 2, anti-submarine warfare level 1, ground attack weapons will be nice, advanced tanks. Well, there's just so many things that I need. Okay, so let's take infantry weapons level 1, or level 2, sorry, and advanced tanks. That leaves me with 100 points, which we could use for naval warfare level 1. Alright, let's go for naval warfare level 1. And then we still have, we can get maybe 1 or 2 more researchers going next turn. So let's head to the Atlantic. Send them up here. Set this guy straight north. Alright. So far, so good. And the other fleets will just stay there. So it's time for Allied turn, and a sip of the now cold coffee. British national morale is boosted by the decisive actions taken to occupy the Irish ports. Okay. Irish Prime Minister de la Valera protests. The United States don't like that. Okay. There we go. AI turn. Now, notice that I'm not putting any chits into diplomacy. In my opinion, it's not really needed. My miners are going to join me no matter what. Except for Spain. And Spain is not really that helpful. So in my opinion, it's pretty wasted. We see that the Chinese are able to move in new units and replenish the one that went down to 1. They're also advancing a little bit here in the center. But soon I'll have more troops arriving in that area. We have some partisan activity. That might actually hinder me from operating these guys out, because it went down to 0. Refrain from naval activity within this zone as it may encourage US move. That's the thing I explained in the beginning. Do not cross this naval zone. And yeah. We're coming up on 1 hour. I'm thinking we should put in a break here. So the situation is this. We are sending garrisons to Manchuria, getting all of these units further south. We'll keep chipping away at the Chinese units in the center. Mobilizing in Abyssinia in the north. Strengthening in Libya. Moving everything across to France, and then we'll attack through the Low Countries as soon as we're ready. That's basically it. So I'll put a break in here, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.